Hello. Hello, everybody. Are we live? Let me know. I'm sorry that we are beginning a bit later. It's been, I guess, 7 minutes since the start of the live stream. So I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or see me. So please definitely comment. I'm using Streamlabs nowadays, so I don't know how it's gonna behave. I know last week we had some problems, so hopefully we're live. And if we are not, then that's a problem that I have to fix. Oh, I can see you, Abdullahi. Thank you for the comment, guys. Comment, because I don't know what's going on in this in this thing. But thank you so much for being here. I guess we are live. I guess you can hear me, you can see me. Today I want to talk about doubts about Islam, which is definitely a huge topic. But before we dive deeper, let me know in the comments below, as always, where are you from? That would be great. And then perhaps, how's your week? Oh, I can see the viewers now. Great. Thank you for stopping by. So, how was your week since the last Saturday? And yeah, where are you from? Let me know. Assalamu alaikum. Let me know where you're from. So I've been actually on one live stream just right now with Talib from the Hamid family, so you can watch that as well. So that's why I'm late, 8 minutes. Hopefully that's fine. We can hear you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Salma. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Edson. All good in the hood. So I guess I'm gonna Netherlands. Awesome. That's very close. That's very close. So today is a very deep topic, and this week was very strange for me. I mean, it's kind of summary. The time changed, right? Did you guys have a time change? But it was a changing time with 1 hour, right? Going into the summertime from the winter time, and that sort of, I don't know, changed something in my biology or something. But yeah, it just was a weird week. A lot of sun. I got my scooter back. I'm very happy. I'm sorry, I'm just mentioning my personal stuff, but I just like to get that out of the way. Thank you, guys. Canada. Oh yeah, salam from Sarajevo. Sarajevo is a place where I would definitely like to go in the summer, so that would be awesome. Greetings from Bosnia. One truth. Oh, you were just on the Talib's live stream, right? I think. That's awesome. Watching you from the UK. Awesome. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you. This means a lot. I don't take it lightly. Like, it's weird that people tune in and watch me live. It's pretty strange. But let's do it. So I want to talk about doubts about Islam, because everybody has them at some point. And to really have a strong iman, you need to be able, because the thing is, you don't really want to just believe in Islam because you were brought up in Islam, your parents made you believe it, or maybe, I don't know, you just think that it's the truth, but you haven't really delved deeper into Islam and other alternatives. So you have to really study it, and you have to figure out for yourself if this Islam is true. And as a revert, that was my kind of journey, right? I went from just being interested in it, couldn't quite comprehend a few things. It was kind of like, how does Islam answer, for example, the natural selection process in evolution? What's the answer for, the meaning of life and all these things? And I had to go through these things to realize that it had pretty clear answers, and that logically it makes sense. Because why am I saying that? Why am I talking about doubts? Like, people shouldn't really talk about them publicly. South India, what's up? But doubts, if not managed, can let you leave Islam. If you look at the statistics, 1 in 4 Muslims who are brought up Muslim, so they grow up Muslim, they leave Islam. So that's 25%. How would I call this rate? 25% rate of people who are leaving the religion. And what is the main cause of them leaving the religion? Is it the problem with how Islam tackles Christianity or different religions? No, it's none of those things. It's the modern society, liberalism, lifestyle, dunya versus Islam. It's atheism, it's modernity versus Islam. That's the battle, and that is what is pulling them away from it, because they can't justify some doubts they have about the religion. For example, why do women cover? Why does Islam prohibit homosexuals from having relationships? These are very difficult topics to answer, and there is wisdom behind them, but sometimes they might be a little harsh. But even these things are nothing. Now let's do the big one. At some points in the past, there were just small doubts, something like age of Aisha, let's say, or how could, I don't know, some other major doubt that's always out there, like it's just like on a periphery. But what is the biggest thing? What is something that makes people not follow the religion, or not really realize its value? What is it based on? Do you guys know the answer to that question? Let me know in the comments. What is Islam? What is the main thing in Islam that if you take it away, it all crumbles? What do you guys think that is? I mean, I'm not saying I'm a professor of Islam here, but I'm just giving you my thoughts. So let me know. Let me know in the comments, what do you think is one thing, if you take it away from Islam or from somebody who's Muslim, then it's all gonna crumble. Okay, I see some comments, so I'm just gonna go through some of them. Yes, scholars say that shahwat are more dangerous than shawat. Doubts are more dangerous than shawat. What is shawat? Let me know. I know what doubts are. Coming from an ex-atheist. Just stick with Islam, you'll get all your answers. Don't lose your iman for some random immediate things. Right, you're probably talking about desire, right? Which is definitely something you can. This came from Shaitan and everything, but I'm not talking about desire now. I'm not talking about this. Oh right, we're getting some answers in this game. Tawheed. Evolution. Right. Yeah, Tawheed. Exactly, Tawheed. Akida is the most important part. Well, you can't have Akida without Tawheed. Yeah. Yes. What's my opinion on the invasion of Kibar? I don't know what that means. I don't really know what sort of invasion that is. But yes, the thing is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The thing is Tawheed. If you start doubting this, nothing else will make sense. Evolution, I see a lot of evolution, but it's coming from Mafria Begum. Evolution is not really a problem, because evolution doesn't conflict with Islam. Evolution just explains how there's different parts of evolution. You have a small evolution, kind of bigger evolution. So small evolution talks about the species, the origin of species. The bigger one is about human beings. And the smaller one, I don't have any problem with that. The bigger one, there's no problem with that, but it doesn't answer the fact, where did the conscious Homo sapiens being came from? Like, because before that it was Homo erectus and all these things. And then maybe 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, something changed. And right now, and suddenly we had this person who has consciousness, who has morality, who knows how to do art. Like, what happened? That Adam. But evolution doesn't really answer that leap that happened 50,000 or 100,000 years ago. And so we have no problem with evolution. I don't really see it as an issue. Because it doesn't answer where the people come from still, like the human being. Ruh. So evolution is not a problem. But yeah, Tawheed. Now, how do you think people who hate Islam or who hate religion are gonna attack your belief in Allah, your belief in Tawheed? What do you think is the main tactic to destroy your iman? Because your iman, all of it stands on the belief in Allah. So how do we, like, if I'm somebody who hates Islam, how do we attack the Tawheed? Can you guys answer that? Because this is very crucial, guys. We have to be sure about. We are not following Islam just because we're taught about it or you brought up in it. It's the truth. There has to be no doubt in your head that this is the truth. So How do we make sure that is? Well, we try to find out the truth through different arguments, through logic, through rationality, through your first-hand experiences, and that's how you get into the truth. But there are still many Muslims who have these doubts. And the main one, it starts maybe with like, why do women cover hijab and all that, and it goes into, at some point, oh, I don't really believe in Allah, and then it just slips. So why this is something we have to prevent. What do you guys think is the tactics of people who are going to attack Tawheed? Shawheed means desires, and doubts are more dangerous than Shawheed. For sure, no question about it. If you have a desire and you commit a sin, you didn't lose your Tawheed. You didn't lose it. But if you have a doubt and it stays unanswered by your parents, by your sheikhs, by the Muslims that you know, this doubt will creep in your head and will create more problems over time. And eventually, if you don't find the right answer, it will lead you to disbelief. So doubts are more dangerous than desires, for sure. I agree with that statement. All right, let me look some comments up because I have been talking for a while. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. We were apes, dogs, cats, apparently. They're all equally. They are interconnected. Okay, dogs, cats, apparently. Not really, because it just says that we have the evolution says we have the same monkeys, and human beings have the same predecessor. I don't know how to say that. But we don't have to go deep into evolution. Evolution is not a problem here. There's a bunch of research on evolution you can look up. You will answer your doubts. You'll have no doubts. If you have doubts, just do sabr. In time, everything will be answered. What is sabr, guys? I don't know what this is. Is this a dua or a prayer? The thing with duas, it's not going to work because doubts will still be in your head. So what is some other way how we can tackle it? But first, let me know how people are going to attack Tawheed. Without Tawheed, there's no Aqidah. Yes, that's it. Ryan, I can't wait to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, one day ask him tons of questions. That's great. Yeah, hopefully we all get to do that, inshallah. Me too. Our mind has no capacity to understand everything. Just leave it to Allah. That's true, but why are then doubts making people leave Islam? We have to be able to answer doubts. Because we can answer them. It's not like Islam is Christianity or some other religion that stays away from hard questions. Islam can answer the problem of evil. Islam can answer the problem of, causation, what created the universe, the Big Bang. There's no problem there. So what do you guys believe? I'm just going to go through the comments. Why does evil exist is asked often. Yeah, that's not really a doubt. I mean, this is a doubt that people have, but this has been refuted for a lot of times. But that can be one thing that can lead you astray. Aqidah is literally built around Tawheed. It's structured framework to stick to your Tawheed. Yes, I agree. I agree with that. All right, what are your thoughts on sapient thoughts? I don't know what that means. Sorry for that. They come up with arguments like universe is eternal and has no creator. Okay, so I guess one truth, this is an argument from an atheistic point of view. And this is a great argument because it's based on nothing. So if you take this logic that universe is eternal, then just ask them, how can it be eternal if there's Big Bang Theory? That's been scientifically not proven, but it's a scientific theory. Just like evolution is a scientific theory, in science, theory is considered a fact, actually. So we have to be, like, you have to study this. You can't just say it's a theory because it's not a theory. If you call something a scientific theory, it's a fact. So evolution is a theory, which is a fact, almost a certain fact. And you can't, like, if Islam is in direct conflict with evolution, it cannot be. So it's not, actually, if you study it. And the same thing goes for this. Like, if you say they come up with arguments like universe is eternal and has no creator, that's going against their own theory, because their theory is saying that there was a beginning. the time had a beginning in the Big Bang. No problem from Islam. We actually know the verse. We actually know the verse from the Quran that talks about the sort of this thing happening. So I don't think this is an argument that is very difficult to tackle. You know, you can just ask them, okay, so you're disproving Big Bang, and they are just crumbled, right? You're actually winning in that position. So from that, guys, I think we have to really stick. We have to really focus on the basics here. We have to really focus on tackling like getting our iman high through logical arguments as well. And we have to really be sure in our iman. And we can be sure about it because Islam is the truth. And as you said, like, if the universe is eternal, there is no creator. Well, we know there's a Big Bang. So what caused the Big Bang? How the Big Bang is the cause of the universe. So let's talk about, you know, the fine-tuning argument or something else. But we can still establish Islam as the truth. So that's not a big problem. But what I wanted to say is this, because I'm getting lost in the comments and in my thoughts. We have to be able to tackle atheism, and we have to be able to tackle it with rational arguments, because you can't take a verse from Quran and say like, hey, look at this disproves your theory, because Quran is not accepted by atheists as a source of truth. So you have to stick to science, to argumentation, logical fallacies, arguments from dependencies, contingencies, cause and effect arguments. You have to stick with this. And this will help you to establish the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without any Quran, without anything. We just have to be able to argue very well. Because once we establish that there is a creator, it's not a big deal to make a leap into Islam. Because that creator can only be one. And then you just compare the religions and you can see, and then you compare the holy books and you can see which one is the correct. So then when you're arguing with different faith groups, I think Islam has a sort of advantage because it makes sense. But I'm talking before that. And this is what can cause doubts. If people start questioning your tawheed through these questions about the universe, who created Allah if He exists, and all these things, right? All right, I'm just going to go through some questions because I was talking for a while. Most of the time they ask questions about apostasy law and Age of Aisha. Sure, but again, this is not doubts. Because Age of Aisha can be explained very, very well, but you need some time. And apostasy, like if the Age of Aisha is the only thing that is going to make you leave Islam, you didn't have Tawheed. So you need to be able to explain apostasy law and Age of Aisha as well. But this is not what Islam is based on. These are like different things within Islam, but this is not the core thing. There are infinite universes. Great thing. But okay, let's look at that thing. So if there are infinite universes, okay, tell me if this universe had a start. And again, we can go back to the Big Bang. And infinite universes don't actually, or multiverse theory doesn't actually go against the first mover, the first creator. Because even if, first of all, you can have infinite number of universes as well. If you look at it from that perspective, you can't really have infinite number of universes. Because if you have infinite number of universes, that would mean they didn't begin. And we know they begin with Big Bang, at least one of them. So how can a universe begin and also be infinite? And have infinite numbers of universes? So there's logical contradictions within those things. And infinite number of universes doesn't explain anything. Or multiverse theory or string theory doesn't explain how can something be created from nothing. How can a universe be created from a random set of processes? It cannot explain it. So infinite universes, we have to write these down. We have to tackle this. Infinite universe is done. Universe is eternal, not possible. Let's go. Let's do more. All right. Oh, we have to have patience. Sabra. Okay, sabra means patience. Thank you guys for letting me know. Patience. You can have patience, but you need to answer yourself. You're not answering to anybody else. You need to be able to answer your own doubts. Because if you are not, this is gonna be a problem. Okay, so patience. Oh my God, there's so many comments. I am not sure I can go through them all. The best experiments we can do is to try what Prophet Ibrahim with his tribe by trying to following the worship of planets. Yeah, that's true. You can just say, that's my God, moon, and then it hides, and then you see the sun. No, that is my God, and then the sun sets. Okay, what created the sun? And you just go, you're looking for the cause of causes. Salam, bro. Salam. Okay, Sabina saying, I was born Muslim, but it took me 15 years to get a strong position in my belief. I have no doubt at all anymore. Education plus life experience is the best way to get certainty. Yeah, I mean, one thing you have to remember is that your fitra was awakened, or you were born with it. Like mine was awakened. I had it and I lost it because I became Christian and then atheist. But it's not awakened just by logical arguments. It is, but when you are doing sujud, when you're doing salat, when you're praying, you have an experience which atheists never had. Therefore, whatever they are saying is just coming from theory. They don't know the experience. So it's the same as I would be telling you something about driving, like how to drive a car through manual transmission, but you never drove a car. So you can kind of understand what I'm saying, but you need to be in the experience. You have a first person experience. That first person experience is more powerful than a logical argument. Is more powerful than anything you can imagine. So we can establish Tawheed, we can establish premises for Allah's existence through logical arguments from dependencies and everything like that. However, the biggest thing is practice, right? And the biggest thing are the prayers usually. And so once you have this experience, it's not like you can explain it to atheists that, well, they have to go through it. So that's the thing, right? Like we have to understand the faith is built on not just logical arguments, but logical arguments are crucial for us to understand the other people's point of view and be able to refute them. Why less educated people are more likely to find God? Jason Becker. I'm not sure if you have this, if this question is correct. I mean, is it? Why less educated people are more likely to find the God? Let me know if you have any research backing this up, because I'm not sure that I can answer something without actually knowing if this is actually the truth. Let me know. I'd be happy to look into it. Okay. Yeah, Phil had some problems with Iman, but again, these are not the core issues, I think. So, what do you guys think? Let me see what you're saying, because there's a lot of comments. Can we say universe is made up of material parts and matter which are not eternal? Therefore, if the universe can't be eternal, well, the universe is made up of finite matter, finite material parts, and every finite, like everything that's finite, like this phone, depends on something, or is contingent on something. Therefore, and everything in the universe is contingent on something. So you can go like that to the cause of causes. Yeah. And but I don't think the problem with the universe being eternal is a big problem, because it had a beginning. It can't be eternal. It's simple as that, like really. Okay. If you're grappling with low iman, I don't think just having belief is enough. At what point is easy to fall outside of Islam? What can we do in practical sense? Yeah, I mean, that's true. JF knows. Yeah, definitely. Like, having a belief is important, because that's your light. That's gonna save you on the day of judgment. We all know that. But the belief is not based on just like a blind faith. It's based on logical arguments, your experiences, and just having, just reflecting on your own creation as well. And so if you have these doubts and they are lowering your iman, you have to write them down and go to someone who's educated on them, or research each of these points so that you can kind of have a more peaceful peace of mind. And guys, this is funny because I was an atheist and I watched some of the debates between Muslims and atheists from an atheistic point of view, and I started to have doubts because we were talking about the Big Bang and the arguments from dependencies, Kalam cosmological arguments, and I couldn't get around the fact that there had to be an independent thing that created everything, and it was just, I couldn't get around it, and then it led me further and further. So I started with doubts in atheism, got into Islam. Now we're here, and some of you now may have doubts about this thing, but I'm telling you, the answer is not in atheism or in any other faith. You already have the answer. You already have the answer. We just need to strengthen it. Okay. Testimonial knowledge and hadith science is our greatest argument against atheism. I'm not sure about that, because hadith science, like everything that the Prophet said, peace be upon him, everything that it's in Quran is not acceptable as a source of arguments for atheists. So you have to go through different things. You can't use Quran and hadiths to back up your claims because they are not accepted. So we have to use different sources of the truth, which is usually science and everything else. But that leads somewhere as well. Alrighty. Man, there's so many comments. I'm not able to go through them, guys. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right. There are sources on the Indian kingdom converted by Julian. Interesting. If there is no creator, how can the universe come from nothing? Yeah, you have simple choices. If there is no creator, the universe had to be created from nothing, or it had to be created by itself, which is self-defeating. Like you have the verse in Quran. Were they the creator of themselves? Or something else caused the universe to exist. But what is this something else? If it's something finite, or if it's like aliens or a different universe, it had to be created. I'm giving you a finger, but it had to be created as well. So this is not a good answer. Or, so we have three. We have, it's either nothing. It's either another universe creating other universe, or a civilization or a simulation of virtual reality, whatever these theories nowadays there are. Or it was created, randomly. Or it was created by someone who had will, intellect, and a purpose to create it, and was independent from it. And you can go one by one and struck these out and just get to the one choice. What is the cause of causes? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all know that. Yeah, how can the universe come from nothing? Give me an example of something coming out from nothing. I mean, does that make sense? Like if you go with that premise, logically speaking, you're killing yourself, right? Because there's no evidence for something being created from nothing, but yet you accept that premise if we talk about the beginning of the universe. They don't want to accept that it must be something else that created it. But the thing that created the universe had to be uncreated, because otherwise it would be created as well. And we just go round and round and round. So we had to be uncreated. So now we get to the point, it had to be eternal. Had to be. And then it had to be independent, because if there are two things, which of them were created first, right? And we have this problem, or Trinity, right? We have this issue. It had to be just one. And we just go through the attributes, and then we move away. So then it's much easier to get into, to push it towards Islam, right? Because you were establishing attributes, and there, give me Give me an example how else this could happen. Are there possible other attributes for Allah from that perspective? I don't know. Oh, yeah. So that's kind of what I got in my game. And I think we have to really pay attention to this, because we have to be able to handle these atheists or these modern sources of doubt through just going through their logic. They are self-defeating. The things with Aisha, the small things, those things are not. They are not the main part of Tawheed. They can be explained by Imam, they can be explained by different people, but our Ummah is suffering from the worst PR ever. We have the worst PR in the world. For sure. You have Jews, you have these. Every religious group has like a business segment, so like Jewish people are really good with finances. You have, Mormons from the US, like a Christian group. They are all lawyers and doctors. I used to live with them in Utah, so that's why I know. And they are very rich. And all these groups, they have their own things. Not great PR, but they have some sort of recognition in the world. But Muslims have like the worst PR, and we have the best theology and Tawheed and everything. But I'm not sure why are people not able to convey the message that clearly. That's something I'm also hoping to help to do, especially to the new age atheists, to the new age materialists, because nowadays I don't go on the street and talk to Christians because there are no Christians here. There are no other groups. People are losing their faith in everything, which is leading to nihilism. And I know where atheism leads because I used to be an atheist, and led me to the darkest corners of the human mind. So it leads to major problems, and we have the cure. There's no compulsion in religion, of course, but you have to convey the message, and you can't just say it. It has to be diagnosed. You have to diagnose the pain and figure out, okay, how am I going to attack this? Is it a logical argument? Is it the argument from dependencies? What am I going to say here? And this is what I'm trying to now do, probably. This is going to be kind of my thing, hopefully, because I know how they think, because I used to think like that. So that's something I should work on. Yeah, you should talk to scholars or people who know about this. Exactly. Yeah, that's true. But most scholars or most people who study Islam, they know a lot about theology, but they oftentimes fail when looking at the modern sources of doubt. I'm not talking about older things or something unclear in Islam. I'm talking about the basics. Because the basics are the basics. Something cannot come from nothing is the strongest argument for a creator for me. It's pretty cool. That's one way to do it, but for somebody that's not enough, and you have to go further, right? The multiverse theory is just a way of trying to explain the fine-tuned universe we live in that produces beings capable of understanding the creator. Yeah, so the universe is fine-tuned. If you guys don't know what that means, I'm pretty sure you can look up fine-tuning of the universe. That's something that you have in your sleeve as a believer. But yeah, multiverse theory is not a problem. It's still self-defeating argument. It's still self-defeating. Can bring about canceling. Have you heard of the number 19? I'm not very familiar. I haven't. Teddy bear, thanks. Knowledge erases doubts. Yes. Like, do you think that I have just accepted Islam based on like my thoughts or belief like that I had? No, I had so many doubts. I had a list of doubts that I had to go through to make me feel like, okay, this is a good choice. So I went through this. Because I don't want to believe in something and then realize it's not true. So I had to find the most controversial part of Islam and being able to justify it to myself. So that's kind of what you have to do as well. And knowledge erases doubts. I agree with you. Who said it? Let me just go there. Justere passage. He is so merciful most. Yes. Why did Allah create us when He knows the past and the future? Hey, that's a great question. Um, there's a video I had about the meaning of life. I'm not claiming to have the answer to that question, and also anybody who claims to really know this is it's impossible. Only Allah knows. So you can never actually explain this. Oh, hey, I get the light. You can never actually explain this with 100% confidence because you don't know. Because Allah said when He was creating Adam from clay, not from ground, right? From clay. Their angels were asking him, "Why did you create this human being?" And he said, "I know what you don't know." So there is no clear answer what we have from Allah. Why did He create us? But we know we have a purpose, we have a meaning, and the ultimate answer is gonna be answered on the Judgment Day, I guess. Tawheed. If you don't mind me asking, Disyan, what took off Islam for a short period of time in your research? Okay, yeah, I can tell you. Yeah, I was looking into Islam for a while, for a year and something. So first time I got my fitra awakened, I was like sure like this is the truth, but I still had a lot of things I didn't know about it. And then when I was reading the Quran and I got to the passages about divorce laws, about all these things, I was like, this is so specific. Like why is Allah focused on this? Like I just couldn't reconcile like why are like because these things are not found in any other religion, because I didn't know that Islam is basically a whole way of life for economy, for politics, for the way government should run, for the way you do your not taxes, but you approach investments and everything. It's all of these things. So family is a huge part of it, and I just was like, why would this book be so specific about these things? It sounds that there's too many rules about this. So I was like, no, there's no way that this would come from Allah. And then I came back after a while and I reread it, and it made sense. But yeah, it just those things were kind of holding me back. But I would still pray, I would still follow it, and it would make sense to me. So everybody has a different thing. But this was just my thing in the beginning. Life is a test for all of us. Agreed. It's definitely a test. Life is a test. Oh, you're answering the question of path clear because life is a test. Yeah, Allah wants to see how we respond to these tests. Yeah, and what's the answer of why? That's the thing we don't know. But life is a test. Jannah, Jahannam, and the meaning of life is to kind of mirror the attributes of Allah. From you have to be merciful if you want to have mercy from Allah. If you have to be, forgiving if you want to be forgiven, and all these things. It's kind of that's the kind of thing. But I don't claim to know the answer fully. So yeah. Do research. Education is vital rather than blindly rely on random comments. Yeah, don't rely on comments on YouTube for sure. Assalamu alaikum from Kosovo. Kosovo. I like Kosovo. Said is saying partly to see which one of us is the best among deeds, and our life is a test. Yeah, so we know that, and we'll see where it leads. Atheists are being hypocritical when they deny testimony as a source of knowledge because they use it. Right, good point. Like, testimony, what you mean by that is saying like, I believe in evolution. Why? Because it's a scientific fact. Have you read the evolution? Have you talked to Charles Darwin? Did you do the experiments? No, you rely on testimony of other people who have the qualifications to do it. This is whole society works like that. So the testimony argument is very, very crucial as well. And you can use it a lot because the whole thing works on testimony. And nothing actually, nothing in your life is out of testimony. Like, just if on my phone my mother calls me, I don't know if this is my mother. I just know this is my mom because like this phone usually shows her picture and her name, but I don't know. I haven't verify the electrical signals or the magnetic things that are going to the towers and giving us this experience of phone call. I didn't do any of that. I'm just relying that this is all that people built, and I rely on them because they're experts. So this is my, testimony. And yeah, atheists deny testimony. Agree with that. You can't believe in a big bang without a prime mover. Oh, they can say like, oh, it was created from nothing, but what is that? It is point of view. If universe is eternal, then who created human beings? Does universe create human? Right, so they answer natural selection. You have mutations. You have mutations across evolution, and then a random mutation occurs after millions of years, and it creates a new species or a slight variation in the genetic compound. And that way, we got to a human being somehow. But you have a problem, because earlier Homo erectus, or whatever you want to call these Neanderthals, they weren't able to produce art. They weren't able to really create language or tools or things like that. Maybe just very primitive, but nothing really sophisticated. And then something happened 50 to 100,000 years ago with Homo sapiens sapiens. Something happened. And this person now, we found art, we found that and that. So like, what is this jump? What is this evolution? Just randomly mutating, creating consciousness? What? How is that possible if we can't right now in the lab produce a single fly that is the exact copy of a fly out there? We can write algorithms for an AI, but we cannot create life. What is life? Life is this essence, this ruch we have. And like, how can you create it from evolution? It wasn't here. There was this mutation, and now there's life, there's consciousness. People can draw, and people can relate to each other, and people can, sing songs. Like, what happened? Evolution doesn't explain that, so you can look into that as well. All right. Okay. We need Muslim scientists who can take on the new atheists on their own terms. People don't realize that the scientific knowledge breaks down at the beginning of the universe. One way to do it, yes, Phil, I agree. Or you can do it through self-reflection and going into the smallest particles and atoms and everything like that. And that also breaks down at some point. And it's not the God of the gaps that these people are referring to. This is necessary condition for your existence. It's not God of the gaps that we're like looking for God in these things. No, it's necessary to have this being here, because otherwise this chain reaction is impossible. Let me know what you think of that. All right. Islam has guidance in every sphere of life, unlike any other religion. Agreed. If God knows the outcome of the test, why would he create us? This is the thing. God knows the outcome of the test, but you have the free will. You have the free will. So you don't know the outcome of the test. You don't know what's going to happen, because you can choose. You can choose. What do you want to do? So you're asking questions which are unanswerable from our point of view, because we would have to have totality of knowledge in the universe to understand what God created us. Agreed? Like, we have to agree with this premise. If I have just a small window of knowledge, and I know like we're human beings, there's this universe, but I don't know what's out there, and I know there's a test and all these things, but I cannot comprehend the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you're asking a question that's I'm not going to answer because I don't know that answer, right? But try to rephrase the question if it's possible. To know him, to find him, he exists in our own, but without seeing him, he gave us just enough clues to know him. Yeah, I think, this is the basics, and then why, you will be able to ask him on the day of judgment. So maybe you'll get a chance. We live our lives then on the day of judgments we'll be our own witnesses. Right on. So right now you're inside your life. You're having the first person experience. You're living. However, on the day of judgment, you're gonna see your life and you're gonna see every action, and you will have to be accountable from every action you did or didn't do. And so you're gonna look at your life from a third person or bird's eye viewpoint. And that's why it's so severe, this knowledge that we have. It's so important to get this to people's heads, because otherwise they just behave in this dunya as of there's no consequence to my actions. But we know for each action you will be held responsible, and you will be sweating and all those things. And you will create your afterlife from your actions in this world. Crazy, right? And that's the thing, like, you cannot then blame Allah for going to Gehenna or something, because he will tell you, you did this to you. I didn't do anything. You did this. You created your whole existence in this afterlife. So just something to think about. You have to reflect also spiritually. We can't just stay in the realm of science and physics and chemistry, because your soul, your consciousness is not limited to physics or chemistry. I cannot measure your consciousness. Give me your consciousness. Where is it? Let me put it into test tube or something. I can't. But we all live. So how can you just stay in this realm of science and physics and chemistry if your own existence, the fact that you think right now that you're watching this live stream, that thing that's watching the live stream, that's you. Not your nationality, not your education, nothing. That's you. That thing cannot be proven to exist, actually. What if this is a dream? So but you know you exist. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. Was that clear? I don't know. Did Neanderthal men have souls? I don't know specifically Neanderthal men, if they are part of... But according to Islam, this wouldn't be the case, because the first human being with ruh, with soul, was Adam. Peace be upon him. And he wasn't Neanderthal. He was actually a human being who was able to learn, who was able to talk, and he was placed on Earth afterwards. So I have no problem claiming that there was millions of years of evolution already happening in this dunya. No problem. But what happened 50,000 years ago or 100,000 years ago? No problem with Big Bang. Like, Islam doesn't go against science. We have to understand this. Yeah. Doubts are usually coming from the cherry picking of information from any epistemological structure. Context is vital. That's why some enemies of Islam pick hadith to confuse people. Yeah, I mean, hadiths, you have to look into if that's authentic, but usually these attacks are very not that crazy for your tawheed or your belief. You can just really, if you get attacked for the apostasy laws, or if you are questioned for why is homosexuality a sin, this is easily to explain. It's just taboo in our society, but this is just because of liberalism. But it's not something, it's hard for people to comprehend. But if you get attacked, but if you get questioned on your tawheed, that's something that everything, like if you establish Allah, everything else makes sense. But if they remove that thing, nothing will remain there. So that thing has to be strong. And you have to refresh the iman every day. And that's why if you stay a lot in these atheistic circles and talk to them a lot, it will have impact on your iman. So you also have to have some time to recharge with your Muslims, and don't lose it. Don't lose the iman, because it's your light. Consciousness, our ability to reason itself, is a miracle. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you, Edson. See you later. Darwin was influenced by satanic tradition. Theory of evolution is a bunch of nonsense. Eldorado, I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with you, because any person who studied theory of evolution knows it's a scientific fact. You can't just say, oh, that's nonsense. No. If you say theory of evolution is nonsense, that makes Muslims look bad. That's what makes us look bad. Like, you can't just be dogmatic about it. No, it actually, there's no problem with theory of evolution and evolution of species. There's no problem there. There's a problem with the evolution of human consciousness. And their explanation is natural selection. But what is natural selection? And if we go deeper into that, we can establish our premise. But you can't disprove, like, the whole evolution is nonsense. Because the only thing you have in your kind of back pocket is your faith, but you need something solid. And if there's a science collides with Islam, it shouldn't really happen that much. So I don't think we can just say this is nonsense. You can't say that, because automatically you're put on the lower pedestal and you just say, oh, this is another religious freak. No, we're not that. We know that this is the truth from logical arguments as well. Why are we saying it's not true? So yeah. And evolution doesn't lead to atheism, by the way. Just because you accept evolution, that doesn't mean it will lead you to atheism at any point. There is no link between evolution and atheism. You can be just watch a bunch. There's a bunch of videos about evolution on Sapiens Institute as well, and just, there's no problem there. Like, I don't know what's the issue. For science is basically hypothesis, analysis, and verification. So as God stated, they follow, not accept assumption, and indeed assumptions avails not against the truth at all. Yeah, it's not all-knowing. It can never be so. That's kind of what we know about science. Subatomic particles appear and disappear when we observe them. Great point, Sabina. That doesn't mean they just appear out of nowhere. It just appears to us that way because we are limited in our observation. Exactly. So you're talking about quantum mechanics, where if you observe a particle and you then look away and it's not observed, it behaves differently, or it's in a different place in time and space. Why is that, right? Because, like, you can just ask people, why is that? And that's physics. So that's also true for this pen and everything in the universe. This exists everywhere. Einstein couldn't sleep because of this, quantum mechanics. That's something, if you want to go deeper into physics, you should look into definitely. Yeah, and it doesn't mean they appeared from nowhere. They are just observed, so they behave differently. How do you explain this logically? And we know it's a truth, it's a fact, because quantum mechanics is a field now. There's another problem for atheists. Gaining philosophical knowledge and science increase my faith in Islam. Atheists usually think the opposite. Yeah, but the funny thing is, like, atheists think they have a truth. Like, an ex-Muslim, usually what happens, like, I used to watch, like, these people who were ex-Christian or ex-Muslim, and they left their faith and they became atheists, and they started to do, like, these new age stuff, or were into psychedelics. And me, or people who I had on my show, like Angel or other people, we're coming from that. He did psychedelics, we did those things, and we're coming back to religion. So it's funny how this thing, like, they think they have the truth, and then we go back, like, no, there's no truth here, let's go back here. So funny stuff. Philosophical knowledge, important. This is the most important thing also. We have to be able to argue in terms of philosophy. We have great thinkers, and I think we should be able to do it. I have some doubt because of non-duality and psychedelics. Zakaria is saying. Non-duality, what do you mean by that? And psychedelics, I know what you mean by that, but I don't think... What sort of doubts you can have from psychedelics? Let me know. Did you try them? You can check Dr. Kanye channel on YouTube, debunks evolution, and he has a playlist. In biology, Muslim scientists. I mean, you can debunk evolution to a certain point, but you can't debunk the whole theory. It's not possible. Philosophy of science is a key tool to debate blind believers in science, yet many experimental scientists don't study it. Yeah, philosophy of science is one thing, and then you can go even higher and higher and study what is actually true. What is the only thing that's true in this world, and that's kind of how you can get to the basic truth. The structure of scientific revolutions by Thomas Kuhn is a great suggestion. Yes. Evolution is nonsense, just there being forced because it supports the secular model, because without it atheism will have solid grounds. Hey Rami, I guess this is where we disagree, but hey, we can disagree, no problem. No problem. For school, my teacher is Allah, Nabi Muhammad, the Quran, and the Sunnah. Nice. Adam, Allah created Adam. He didn't turn an ape to Adam, and he created Eve. Yeah, and evolution doesn't say, like, evolution has many terms within evolution. I don't have any problem with what you just described there. So maybe that we're just misunderstanding each other. Okay. So what else I had on my mind? Yeah. So I think we have a lot of knowledge. We have a lot of good arguments to just talk to people. To just talk to people about the basic premises of Tawheed, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of the creation of the universe, and everything like that. I think we have great arguments, and we have to stand strong in this, because this is our basis for our iman. At least for mine, and the rest, the experiences, they are even stronger, but they are built on the foundation that this is the truth, and there is no doubt that this is the truth. Okay. Actually, more detailed science found means more detailed order means lesser probability of random events. Science actually boosts iman. Yeah. So this means, like, the more things you observe in the universe, the more things are not random. And yeah, actually there's a theory that randomness is just a byproduct of your ignorance, because you don't have the totality of knowledge. So you don't know why this car on the street was driving and drove into the tree. Like, there was a random accident. But if you had a totality of knowledge, there's nothing random. It's all predetermined. It's all there. So randomness is just the byproduct of ignorance usually. And yeah, the science, if it keeps more discoveries, is gonna show that things are not random as we thought they are. Newton said he felt like he was merely paddling to the edge of an ocean of knowledge. Scientists should show similar humility. I agree with that. Human evolution is still not fully proven. Boom. That's the key. We're talking about human evolution, and the general species evolving, that's no problem. Like, you have a brown bear, you have 100 brown bears and 1 polar bear because of genetic mutation. How can you talk that this is not the case? This is how evolution works. Evolution of species. But human evolution is a different thing, because we are talking about consciousness, ruh, soul, and everything like that. So that's the thing where we have to be really patient. And also, we don't have a time frame like Jews, like 5,000. The Earth is 5,000 years old or something like that. There's no time limit to where Adam, peace be upon him, was placed on Earth. So it's very possible that when the first human appeared, Homo sapiens sapiens, 100,000 years ago, that actually was the Adam. And there was already all these things on Earth. So this doesn't disprove anything. The human evolution is not fully proven. I agree with that. But evolution is a fact, and we should just, the evolution of species is a fact. But they make a leap of faith, a jump from natural selection to kind of just saying these mutations occur randomly, there's nothing driving them, and everything like that. I agree it's used for atheists a lot to debunk believers, but actually we shouldn't be that scary of evolution. It's pretty simple. Well, not that simple, but you get the point. Evolution is not a big problem. Have you watched Professor Lawrence Krauss and Hamza? Yeah, I watched that a few weeks ago. Great debate. Randomness is a myth. Yeah, like randomness is just a byproduct of ignorance. True. Okay, guys. So I think we had a lot of things today. Let me know what you want to talk about next week. I hope I gave you some ideas, but what I want to create really in the future, I either want to talk to people here in Prague, like on the street, give them some dawa, record it for YouTube, and really just talk about these atheistic kind of things, because that's most people here. And I won't be able to, I don't want to go deeper into Quran and Hadiths because that's not my field of study. I'm not qualified to do anything with that. But I am qualified to tell you why I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because I do. So that's what I want to do. And then also I want to focus on those type of videos probably in the future, because I think sometimes we go too deep into like the science of Hadiths, the this and that. And it's just like people who watch those videos, they are already like very practicing Muslims who just disagree on small details. This is not the fight we're having. This is not the fight that I'm concerned with, to agree on these small things within Islam, or disagree with Shia, and there's 100 Islamic schools of thoughts. I know that there's people who study this for their entire lives. I think the bigger problem is people leaving Islam. 1 in 4 people leaving Islam, and also because they have these doubts. And these doubts are not coming from these small things like Shia says this, Sunni says this guy says this. It's coming from these big things, and even doubting the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to be able to strengthen our iman through normal logical arguments and first-person experiences. Once we are able to do it, then that's what we need, and people won't be leaving Islam. Because why else would I accept Islam? Like, I don't fit the profile of a person who should be a Muslim. So we have to be able to recognize that there's a way to pull people into Islam from atheism. And the way is not through your typical route, but it's through different means. Yes, to believe in science without your own experimentation becomes your faith religion. That's one way to put it as well. All right. Thank you, guys. I think a lot of people don't agree with me on some evolution things. I wasn't referring to evolution as a fact in terms of like everything is a fact, but the scientific theory is established, and you can't just say evolution is nonsense, because you won't be taken seriously. No, evolution is a scientific fact and a theory. Where we disagree is a human evolution, and the theory that natural selection and randomness is driving this process. We know it's not like that, and they know that they can't prove what this natural selection is. That's all I'm saying. But evolution actually happened on this planet, so you can't say it didn't happen. But the human thing is different. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, guys. I mean, this is great when I get to engage with you. I'm always happy to do these live streams. Finally, we did it on a different platform, so hopefully I'll catch you next week. And let me know what you want to talk about, but I think this is so important. Everybody who has doubts is mostly having doubts about this major things, because atheism claims to have answers, but it actually has nothing to offer you. So you have to be able to go after them with something, with some bullets, in terms of your knowledge I'm talking about. So we have to have some good knowledge. All right. Well, thank you so much. It was great to be here. Assalamu alaikum. And I'll catch you next week for sure. In the meantime, have a great week. and may Allah reward you all for watching this stream. And let me know if you enjoy these or not. Because I don't know, some people think I shouldn't talk about these things. Some people think, I'm not qualified to do any of those things because I'm just a revert. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to know your thoughts. Alrighty. See you later, guys. Thank you so much, and I can't wait for the next week.